Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sitaram, 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 Lakshman Hanuman. Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. So today we're reading from the 18th chapter, text 58. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we have the Sanskrit up on the board. I'll read one line and you can repeat after me. Cetasa sarva karmani Maya sanyasya matparaha Buddhi yogam upashritya Macchittaha satatam bhava. Oh, it's a different verse. Oh, sorry. I read the wrong verse. Macchitta sarvadurgani Matprasada tarishyasi Atachetvam ahankaran Nashosyasi vinangshasi Macchitta sarvadurgani Matprasada tarishyasi Atachetvam ahankaran Nashosyasi vinangshasi Macchitta sarvadurgani Matprasada tarishyasi Atachetvam ahankaran Nashosyasi vinangshasi. Would anyone like to chat? Macchitta sarvadurgani Matprasada tarishyasi Atachetvam ahankaran Nashosyasi vinangshasi. Macchitta sarvadurgani Matprasada tarishyasi Atachetvam ahankaran Nashosyasi vinangshasi. Macchitta sarvadurgani Matprasada tarishyasi Atachetvam ahankaran Nashosyasi vinangshasi. Thank you. We'll do the word for word now. Mat, of me. Chitta, being in consciousness. Sarva, all. Durgani, impediments. Mat prasadat, by my mercy. Tarishyasi, you will overcome. Atha, but. Chet, if. Tvam, you. Ahankarat, by false ego. Nashosyasi, do not hear. Vinangshasi, you will be lost. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Purport. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under strict material laws, but as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from the material perplexities. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done, but a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act, because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. So before I begin to speak, I'd like to recite some prayers to spiritual masters, by whose grace I've received this knowledge. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dechatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And before I begin to speak, also I'd like to seek the blessings of all the devotees present here. Please give me your blessings that I can say something pleasing to their lordships and beneficial for all of us. Vanchakopa Drubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So I'll read the verse once again. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So here Krishna's speaking about the benefits of being Krishna conscious. He's saying that if you're Krishna conscious, you'll be able to pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life. So I thought it was interesting also how Srila Prabhupada, he named this society the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He could have called it something else like Society for Service to Krishna, or the Society, for spreading God consciousness. But he chose this word of Krishna consciousness because consciousness is very important. It's so important to be conscious. More important than what we do is the consciousness with which we do it. And the best consciousness is Krishna consciousness. And this is stressed so many times in Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is always reminding us to think of him, to be conscious of him, to see him in in every living entity, to see him as the present in the creation through his energies. And Krishna also, he devoted a chapter of Bhagavad Gita, a few chapters actually, to explaining how he's present in his creation, so that we can remember him just by seeing the world around us. Like in chapter 10 and 7, he says, he gives different things, like, for example, the sun. He says that I'm the sun is like my eye, and the moon is also like my eye, and among the bodies of water, I'm the ocean, and among aquatics, I'm the shark, among trees, I'm the banyan, and I'm the ability in man, I'm the taste in water. So these things we see every day. Many times a day we drink water. So if we just remember every time we drink water that Krishna is the taste of water, and be grateful to Krishna for giving us water to drink, then we're Krishna conscious, and we please Krishna in this way. And when we get the mercy of Krishna, then we've attained everything, because Krishna's mercy is everything. Here Krishna says, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that for one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. So, if somebody has the Supreme Lord as his best friend, then what is not obtainable for him? Everything, he doesn't need to worry about anything. That's why for the devotee, there is no need to be in anxiety. The devotee's only thought should be, how should I please Krishna? How to follow Krishna's instructions, and then everything is good for me when Krishna is happy with me. In the Bhagavad Gita 5th chapter, verse 29, it says, Bhoktaram yagitapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. That a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So Srila Prabhupada here in the purport, he says that this is the peace formula. That if one just understands Krishna to be the Supreme Lord of everything, of all the planets and all the demigods, the Supreme Enjoyer of all activities, all sacrifices, and the best well-wishing friend of all living entities, then he attains peace from all the miseries of material existence. So, the problem is that many of us, we have a misunderstanding that we think that we are the enjoyers. And then that's when our anxiety begins and when our peace goes away, because we think that we have, the only way to be happy is to try to enjoy myself, because we think that we're the enjoyers. But actually, that's not true, because it's explained in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna himself, who is the person who knows everything about the creation. He created the creation. He's our Father also. He's our Creator, and so he knows what's actually what. And so he tells us that actually you're my part and parcel. Mamai vamso jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, manasasthani indriyani, prakriti sthani karshati. That actually we are all Krishna's parts and parcels, and our duty is to serve him as parts of the body, serve the body as a whole. And but if we don't understand this, and if we try to enjoy ourselves, as is the case with most conditioned souls. That's why this verse says, due to conditioned life, we're struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Because in conditional life, we think that we're the enjoyer, and then everybody's trying to enjoy themselves. So then everybody clashes with each other, and that's why there's so much anxiety, because everybody is thinking that I have to enjoy myself at the cost of everybody else. And so everybody else is just trying to push everybody else out of the way to enjoy himself. But in Krishna consciousness, there is actual happiness and peace, because everybody is united in their aim to please Krishna. And then it's like if you throw a stone in the water, then all the circles around it, they don't collide, because they're the ripples, because there's one center. But if you throw different stones, and then the ripples that come out, they collide, because there are different centers. So the collision, the arguments, the strife, the anxiety happens when we're not focused on Krishna as the center. We have our own ideas. So the way to attain peace and happiness is to live in harmony with placing Krishna in the center. Many great poets and philosophers, they write about this longing for peace and harmony in human society. And many people have strived to create harmony among people, like the United Nations. They want to create harmony, stop war. But actually, this is only possible when we take Krishna's instructions and make Krishna the center, and make people God conscious. Only then can there be peace in society. So this is explained here in the Bhagavad Gita, and Srila Prabhupada writes that the real United Nations is the Krishna consciousness movement, because we can see how many different people from different nations are in Krishna consciousness, and everybody is united, serving Krishna, and everybody is happy together. I take questions at the end. Is that okay? So everybody is happy in Krishna consciousness, serving Krishna together. So this is the way to have the real peace and unity. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He is already under strict material laws, but as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from the material perplexities. So this is a nice point here. Srila Prabhupada is saying that actual freedom is Krishna consciousness. Many people, they think that I want to be free. I don't want to be constrained by any rules and regulations, or to submit to some organization. But actually people don't understand that we are actually bound at every step by the modes of material nature. The Sanskrit word is guna, and guna literally means rope, that which binds us. So everybody who is not in Krishna consciousness, they're bound by these three modes of material nature. And so even though they think they're acting freely, they're actually acting on the demands of their mind and senses, which are actually controlled by their enemies, lust, anger, and greed. These are our enemies because they make us suffer. They make us do sinful activities, which don't make us happy. They make us frustrated in this life, and in the next life also. We have to suffer for our sinful activities. So people don't understand how actually their so-called freedom is actually only making them more and more entangled and bound up in the miserable cycle of birth and death. And so this Krishna consciousness movement is actually telling people to follow these regulative principles to actually become free from this bondage to material life. It's like when you're diseased, you have to follow certain rules to become free from the disease. So in the same way, if we want to become free from the prison life of this material world, then we have to follow the certain rules and regulations as Srila Prabhupada prescribed here, prescribed for us. And it's taken from the Bhagavatam, actually, the 4 regulative principles that we follow. They're described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as the places where Kali dwells. That in the beginning of Kali Yuga, just when Kali Yuga was about to commence, then Pariksha Maharaj was the ruler at that time, and he was a great devotee. He was the grandson of Arjuna, and so he went. He heard that there were some bad things going on in his kingdom. So he set out on his chariot with his entourage to go to travel the kingdom and make sure that everything is going on all right. And then in one place he found that Kali personified. He was beating a bull and a cow, and so he immediately got down and he said, "How dare you kill these, torture these innocent creatures in my presence? Do you think that only because Arjuna is no longer here that you don't need to fear performing any sinful activities?" So Parikshit Maharaj, he chastised him very heavily, and he actually wanted to kill him. But because Kali, he surrendered at his feet and begged for shelter, so he didn't kill him, but instead he said that I cannot kill a surrendered soul. So because you've surrendered to me, I won't kill you, but I will. You can't stay here in my kingdom. So Kali said, "Well, where should I go then? Because your kingdom is the entire world. Please give me some place where I can stay." So then Maharaj Parikshit, he said, "Okay, you can stay wherever there is intoxication, wherever there is gambling, wherever illicit sex is going on, and wherever there is meat eating." Yeah. So he gave him these 4 places. But at that time, the whole kingdom was so pious that these places were hardly to be found anywhere. So then Kali requested for another place to stay, and then Parikshit Maharaj said, "Okay, you can reside where there are large quantities of gold stored." So then Kali was satisfied. So from this, based on these, our regulative principles are formed. So that, by avoiding these things, then we avoid the influence of Kali. And the influence of Kali is also described in the Bhagavatam, that it is the source of all sinful activities, quarrel and suffering. So, to avoid the influence of Kali, we follow these regulative principles. And in the Bhagavad Gita, these regulative principles are described as the regulative principles of freedom. Ragadvesha vimuktayistu, vishayan indriyaschayan, atmavashir vidayatma prasadam adhigachati. That one who is free from attachment and aversion, and who is able to regulate his senses by following the regulative principles of freedom, can attain the complete mercy of the Lord. So by sincerely trying to follow these regulative principles and being detached from sense enjoyment, then we attain the complete mercy of the Lord. And the mercy of the Lord is here, that we pass over all the obstacles of conditional life by my grace. And then the second part of this verse, it says, "If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So Krishna is saying that, if instead you don't follow my instructions, you'll be lost. So we see many people, nowadays they don't have knowledge of Krishna's instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, and many people, they're lost. When you speak to people, you ask them what their aim of life is. They don't even know why they're working so hard, what's going to happen after death, where they came from, what the purpose of life is. And many of them, because of not knowing the answers to these questions, they're depressed. And many people, they're just quite miserable. So as devotees of the Lord, we should try to give people this knowledge, which is so important. First of all, we should try to understand it ourselves so that we can explain it nicely, make our own life perfect, and then try to help others. That's why Lord Chaitanya, he ordered to everyone that Bharata Bhumite Manushya Janma Hoilo Yar Janma Sarata Pikari Kara Para Upakar. Take this from me, that all of you please make your life successful by accepting these instructions of devotional service, and then try to preach them to others and give this knowledge to others, so give others the opportunity to also make their lives successful. So, this is what Srila Prabhupada tried to do, and we can see from the example of Srila Prabhupada's life how he started with nothing. So, from his example, actually, we can take courage that you don't have to be rich to preach Krishna consciousness. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be young. Prabhupada was old. He started in America with no money. He had no friends. And he just started by sitting in a park and chanting Hare Krishna. But because he had understood the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, he had great faith in Krishna and his holy name. So then when he chanted the holy name, it had power because of his purity. And so when people heard him chanting with such purity, such devotion, such Krishna consciousness, then they were attracted. And so gradually many people came, and they joined, and they decided to find out more about the chanting, about why this old Indian sannyasi had come to America and what his mission was. Why was he chanting in the streets, chanting in the parks? So then gradually, when they understood actually the depth of this philosophy, why we actually chant, then they decided to actually make it their life's mission, and also share it with others. And so that's how this Krishna consciousness movement spread. So it's very simple. Everybody can do it if one has the inspiration. Here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that one should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done, but a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act, because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. So here Prabhupada is saying one should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool. So it's important to be active in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada would say that Krishna consciousness is not an armchair philosophy. It's something that you just read and talk about. It's actually a lifestyle. And we should actually try to engage ourselves as much as we can, because the more we engage ourselves, the more we actually get Krishna's mercy, and we get a taste for a spiritual life, And when we get a taste for spiritual life, then we gradually we're able to become detached from material life and become more and more engaged in Krishna consciousness and fixed, and then we become more and more happy. And yes, as one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool. I heard a devotee say that Krishna consciousness is like swimming upstream, and because the general flow of the river is in Kali Yuga is to go downwards towards sense gratification, materialistic life. So if we want to be free from that, then we have to always be active. We always have to be swimming. Otherwise, if we stop, if we think, oh, I'm already good in Krishna consciousness, I'm already a good enough devotee. I don't need to. Maybe today I don't need to chant. Krishna's not gonna. He's not gonna kick me out if I don't chant my rounds today. Or sometimes people get complacent. They think that I've done so much already in Krishna consciousness, so I can just sit back and relax now. But from this example, we see that as soon as you stop swimming, the tendency is to flow back down. So you need to keep on swimming in order to because you're swimming against current. So, and Srila Prabhupada is saying also here that we should always be active in Krishna consciousness. We should never become complacent, because empty mind is the devil's workshop. We're active by nature, so if we're not active in Krishna consciousness, then we'll be active in Maya, and then we'll get in trouble. So, we should always try to engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness. There are so many opportunities for service in Krishna consciousness. That's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, he established so many different aspects of Krishna consciousness, so many different ways we can engage ourselves for all different kinds of people. Some people like doing gardening, some people like doing deity worship, some people like bringing in money and doing business, and some people like just philosophy, teaching. So in every way you can engage yourself in Krishna consciousness. The important thing is that you're doing it for Krishna. And this last sentence is also important. A person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. So when we act in Krishna consciousness, we're inspired to do something for Krishna. And because Krishna, he gives intelligence also from within our heart. He inspires us, especially to those who are trying to engage in his service. Krishna says, Tesham sajata yuktanam bhajatam pradipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam dam yena mam upayantite. To those who are constantly engaged in serving me with love, to them I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna gives intelligence from within, and also this is confirmed by the spiritual master. So that it's always good to be sure before we do something, before we take a major decision. We just confirm with our spiritual master, with the senior devotees, if this is what I should be doing. And then the devotee is confident that he's doing the right thing. So these are some points that I like to discuss from this verse. If any of you have some questions, you can ask now.
I just wanted to understand a little bit more about what it means when Krishna is saying, if you become conscious of me. Well, can you sort of help to define what that means? Is it something physical? Is it a state of mind? Is it just knowing that Krishna exists? How do you define what it means to be conscious of him?
Yeah, thank you for a nice question. It's a state of mind. Consciousness means we're thinking of Krishna. Like when we do something, we're conscious that I'm doing this for Krishna, and I'm going to give the results to Krishna. say, when we're cooking, then there are so many ways that we can be conscious of Krishna. First of all, when we buy the ingredients, then we think that I'm going to buy the ingredients to make something nice for Krishna's pleasure. And we can also remember that it's only by Krishna's grace that we can buy the ingredients, and the vegetables and the grains, they all are growing only because he gives us the sun for the plants to grow, the rain for the plants to grow, the earth, and then by the seeds. So by his arrangement, we're getting things to eat, and then the whole time we can just meditate that I'm doing this for Krishna. So it's just a state of mind.
Okay, so just to expand on that a little bit. So is it a case of when you're saying that, when Krishna's saying that you be conscious of me, is he talking about you? You're explaining it in a way of when we're doing actions, we're doing it in service to Krishna. But is it just a case of you knowing that Krishna exists, or you actually physically have to be engaging in his service, or is it just actually being conscious of him, like we're conscious maybe of the sun, that it's there, but we're not sort of acknowledging it 24 hours a day and
No, the idea is that we should think of Krishna at every moment. So that's why we try to engage in activities which remind us of Krishna also. Like every day we dedicate, the first thing in the morning we wake up and we remember Krishna by coming to the temple, by chanting his holy names, and then we hear about his activities, his instructions from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we this gives us a foundation to meditate on for the rest of the day. Then we can, if we have this strong foundation in the morning, then we can carry on thinking about Krishna throughout the day, dedicating our activities to Krishna. And of course, we should do something also that we can dedicate to Krishna, because some things are just not, we can't do for Krishna, because there are certain things that Krishna tells us we shouldn't do. So if we do those things, then we wouldn't really be offering them to Krishna, like sinful activities. So like when we choose our occupation, for example, we should do something that's that we can offer to Krishna, not something like, working in a slaughterhouse or working in some company that produces intoxicants or things like that. We should try to do something more noble, some business that doesn't cause distress to too many people. It's not very sinful. So then we can do it as an offering to Krishna, that I'm working for Krishna, and I'll give the results to Krishna. So, and then we can be conscious of Krishna in our work and our activities. Yeah, is that okay? Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah.
You gave me an analogy that practicing spiritual life is like trying to swim off the current. And I was thinking, how do we make sure that we're actually progressing closer to our goal and not just fighting the current and staying in the same place?
Yeah, Prabhupada gives in different places. He tells us these are tests to see whether you're advancing in Krishna consciousness or not. So in one place he says that you can tell if you're advancing in Krishna consciousness by how detached you are from sense enjoyment. So if, we see this with devotees, when people come to Krishna consciousness, they have things that they're attached to. Like some people, they're attached to eating in restaurants, they're attached to, whatever, different things, smoking. But then gradually, just by practicing devotional service and the association of devotees, and then they gradually lose taste. And after a few years, if a friend comes and says, you want to smoke? He'll say, no, I don't want to smoke. And really, he's not interested anymore because he doesn't care about it anymore. So we can see this is like an example of somebody advancing in Krishna consciousness. And another test is by how much we're experiencing happiness in when we practice chanting, when we hear about Krishna's activities, how much we're actually enjoying it. So by all these things in this way we can test ourselves whether we're advancing in Krishna consciousness, actually. Yeah. Yes.
For example, how can we know that we lost the attraction for material activities? And how can we differentiate from suppressing some material desire? How can we differentiate between that?
Well, I think you have to be introspective and just ask yourself, am I still attached to this? Yeah. We shouldn't be so worried, though, about if we're still attached or not. We should just try to engage in Krishna consciousness as much as we can and pray to Krishna to please clean our heart of all material desires, because actually Krishna is the only one who can actually purify us of all material contamination. On Krishna's lotus feet there are different symbols, and one of them is a thunderbolt, and it said that the symbol of the thunderbolt represents the ability of Lord Krishna to destroy the mountains of sin that are accumulated in the heart of his devotee. So just by meditating on Krishna's lotus feet, there's a nice verse in the Bhagavatam. It says that one should meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna for a long time, because his lotus feet destroy the mountain of sin or material contamination from our heart. So just by meditating on Krishna and praying to him, and then showing our sincerity by engaging ourselves as best we can in his service, then gradually everything will become purified. All these attachments, material desires, they all become purified from our heart. And also by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. It's the literary incarnation of Krishna. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam it says, Srinvatam Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridyantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam. That by that hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam is pious in itself, and for the sincere devotee who is always seriously listening to the Bhagavatam, then this cleanses all the impurities from his heart. Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtaki. Yeah, by regularly attending classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely removed, and irrevocable and loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord is established in your heart as an irrevocable fact. So this is the process. You just need to, Srila Rupa Goswami says that we need to follow this process with enthusiasm, utsahan nischad dharyat. Enthusiasm, confidence, and patience. So these things are important. That enthusiasm that this process works, and we can get this by seeing how other devotees have practiced this process and shown the effects of this process in their own life. So then we can also gain faith and confidence that if I do the same, then also get the same benefit. That's why practicing in devotee association is so important, because then we can see how others are advancing in Krishna consciousness and feel inspired to continue. And then we just need to be patient that gradually one day I'll also reap the benefit of this process. It's like practicing an instrument. In the beginning, it's very difficult. Like if you want to learn an instrument, in the beginning it sounds terrible. When you play the keys, you're always making mistakes and it doesn't sound beautiful at all. But if you continue practicing with patience and determination, then one day you'll find that you're able to play beautiful music. It just comes like that. Is that okay? Would anybody else like to say anything? Okay, then I'll stop here. We're going to have the Arti in 1 minute. Thank you all for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.